Guys, I have made it no secret. I love Vosteed knives, and I had one come in that we just unboxed on a live feed, and we're gonna look at the first impressions on the Tuff Thumbs design Psyop by Vosteed Knives. Let's turn this around and take a look at this thing from above. All right, guys, Vosteed knives, right here, this box. This is a box we see on this channel all the time, and there's a reason why. It's because of knives like this. This is the Vosteed Knives Psyop. This thing's absolutely insane. We got to talk about it. We got to get some really good shots of this. But first things first, we got to get the box out of the way because it distracts from what we really need to do, which is look at this. So it's kind of unusual for me to get this excited about a knife. And a lot of it has to do with just the overall aesthetics of this, but there's a lot of other things as well. So this hits every little wicket for things that I love in knives. Elmax steel, micarta handles. The coating on it is attractive and it is really good with the overall flow of the knife. The way it feels in hand, the pocket clip, the lock mechanism on it, it just hits all those little wickets. So I'm going to get some fancy footage of it up close with good lighting as best I can and put it in here and we can talk about it. But what you're seeing is just this gorgeous Elmax blade that is done in a really nice, unique drop point fashion. So now we're back to the tabletop. I don't want to spend up too much of that time, but we'll look at it close here too. This thing is just gorgeous. Nice shape to this blade. It's got a lot of belly, but it's not super heavily radiused back here, so you've got a flat area. Nice taper on this blade. It's a very useful blade shape in hand. It's in a position that it's absolutely super functional. Micarta on this is done incredibly well, fully contoured. You can see here, it's brought down. There is a little chamfer right here, but I got to tell you, like that fills your hand. And what you want is a thicker handle on a narrower knife like this. Then you've got this great big blade that's nested in there. The blade is in Elmax, which is one of my favorite steels. And Vosteed so far has always done a really good job with their heat treats. The grind on this is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Now, this did not come from Vosteed. I want to make sure you guys know this. This isn't something that Vosteed sent me. This was sent to me by one of the paying members. Now, this is mine, and it's going to stay here, and I'm going to use it. But even just the little details, matching all the hardware with the same coating, just gives it a good look, and that's a good color. So enough about just the aesthetics. You've got a reverse flick, they call this a reverse liner or a back liner button lock. Technically, it's a button actuated compression lock. You can see it's just a compression lock that's done on this with a button, kind of similar to what you saw in the Smock. I didn't like the Smock. This is much better. It was also used in the RS Chaos that also came out of Vosteed knives. It's got a nice backspacer on this. You can see the liners on this. They've been coated and finished nicely so that they're a little bit more polished than the rest of the knife. You can see down in here, there's your lock. It's got some jimping on it that is not horrible jimping. A lot of times I complain about jimping, pretty good jimping. The blade comes down to a nice edge. I have not cut much with this so far. I wanted to film this video first because it is an attractive knife. This one is a White Mountain Knives exclusive from what I can tell. It is a number 169 of 230. And you can see the White Mountain Knives mark there. And this is a Tuff Thumb Designs from Jeff over at Tuff Thumbs. So all that stuff out of the way. Now in hand, this thing is great. You've got this little platform here. So you have a choil here where you can get a little further back. And then instead of needing this full finger choil here, this is about the most comfortable hold on that knife. You just get up here on this little flat here. And since it does have this choil, you don't feel like you're too close to the edge. It doesn't feel like you're going to slip off. You can get way up on this and use the belly of that for cutting. And because the button is not here and it's out of the way, you're not going to push that button. You don't have to worry about closing your hand. The compression lock and these, so by default, this lock is one of the strongest locks you're going to find. So you don't have to worry about that lock slipping and giving way. Nice taper to these handles as it comes down. It's not really a taper, but more of a curvature. It kind of tapers in the middle, but it feels very secure in hand because it's got that curvature to it. And since it is radiused basically from tip to tail, it drops into that cut. So when you're cutting, I cut a little bit of cardboard with this, not enough to scratch the coating, but it definitely allows you to just drop into that cut and address the cut really well. And since it is at that dropped angle, you're kind of pushing into material and it doesn't feel like you're going to slip off on that tip. And then just the micarta is done beautifully. Last thing, pocket clip on it is incredibly good. It's really comfortable in hand. This is a case where this is just a really good use of one of these just generic deep carry pocket clips, right? But it's ambidextrous and it's been milled. It's not surface mounted. It's got that slot milled out so that it can sit in there. So even if the screws get a little bit loose, your pocket clip's not walking all over the place. That everyone should do that. I don't understand why companies still do surface mounted pocket clips. And since this is an ambidextrous lock, I'm not as good left-handed as I am right-handed. You've got really good use of this for both people. And I meant to tell you guys, front flipper on it is really, really good. You know, this is that first impressions video, so I am gonna miss some stuff, but this is gonna go in my pocket. Now, there are a couple things that I have to point out that I'm not a super big fan of. It happens with all kinds of knives, and it's happened in this one as well. So let's go ahead, turn this around, flip side of the story, flip side of the knife. Okay, so a couple things on this. The first one being something that really does irritate me on a lot of knives when I see it. I don't like an exposed detent hole. It's not just that I don't like it from an aesthetics standpoint. That detent hole now is in a position where, yes, I do know it's going to get dirty anyway, but there's much more chance if I'm using this that it's going to get gunk and stuff in the hole itself, and then that leads to problems, and it's kind of hard to take it apart. Now, this won't be hard to take apart because unlike a regular button lock, it's like a compression lock, which is a very easy knife to disassemble and take apart. The next thing, I don't dislike the pocket clip, but I really wish it didn't move. And a lot of it's because it's contoured handles. It moves a little bit in hand. When you bear down on it, I can feel it kind of move, especially when I shift positions on it. I can feel that pocket clip move. It's not as bad as a lot of others, but it still does move. I would have liked to have had something that's not quite as flexible, but you know, you can bend most pocket clips like that. Next thing, the front flipper is okay. I wish it was a little taller. I wish that it came back a little further because I have gotten up against, you can see what you want is clearance all the way around with that. And I've hit that with my big fat sausage fingers a couple times in deployment. It's not bad. On this one, it's really, really good. It's not horrible at all. And then I guess the final thing I have to say, and I don't like detracting from things. The problem I always have with these button compression locks is that you wind up losing blade length. That choil didn't need to be there. That choil is absolutely unnecessary. If this was just a regular compression lock, and I'll show you the difference in a second, you could have gotten rid of this and you would have had almost a ½ inch of extra blade length, edge length. But because of how this works, you see how this comes in and then the blade drops in. That blade is right there and you have to make space for that button because that's where the blade locks up. You can see on this, that's where the blade locks up. On a regular compression lock, you don't really run into that because it's accounted for in this space here and the button doesn't go into the blade. There is nothing there. It's on the back, it's on the outside. And so even though there's a choil there, that choil is pretty far back. It doesn't detract from the length of the blade. You have to account for it on this. I think that it would have been better if it was just a regular compression lock or a liner lock. You would have been able to, instead of needing that much space to account for where that button is positioned in the closed position, it would have given you a good bit more blade that you could have squeezed in there. It's just, I don't use, let's get this out of the way. I don't use the choil on this because it's not as comfortable as it is back here. And if that blade had come back just even back to here, that would have given you half, maybe a quarter, maybe a ½ inch extra of blade length. That would have been used. It would have been great. I have caught myself catching this. This is one of the times that I will agree that this choil has gotten in the way. If I get all the way up on it like that, yeah, but it's not as comfortable as it is back here. And then I've got a real big dead area here before I get to usable blade. It's not a showstopper for me. So no, I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing. And the last thing, I don't like lanyard holes. You guys know that. Could have put a spot in the backspacer for it. You would have not uglied up that. It's not as bad on this one as it is in the others. Is it a yup or a not? Yeah, it's a yup. This is the next knife you need to buy. I wasn't lying in the title. I absolutely think everyone should buy. This thing is great. And I like Jeff. I like Jeff's work. Really, really good design. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go back to the green screen and do some final thoughts to send you out about your day. Yeah, guys, This thing's just absolutely incredible so far. There's a couple little things. Like I said, I'm not such a big fan of that big cutout because what you have to have for the lock. But other than that, so far it's great. It's in a steel I love. It's a handle material I love. It's a color that's really, really good looking. So we'll see how this pans out. We're going to carry this for a couple weeks. You guys will see the final review video when we get to that. You may see it in some other videos. Guys, that's it on this one. You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell icon. If you do hit the bell icon, make sure that you subscribe to all videos. That way you get notifications. If you are going to shop for knives, the best way you can support my channel is to use the affiliate links down below. You don't have to just shop for knives. You can shop on my Amazon store. But those links support the channel. Doesn't cost you anything extra at checkout. Take that Amazon store, pin it to your browser, use it for all of your Amazon shopping. I have a membership down below. Oh, wait. 2 of those links save you money. Coffee Break Coffee and Tempered Travel have a 10% discount built into them. 10% off just by using the link. You don't even have to do anything extra. I also have a coupon code of crazysharp, all one word, that works at Farmforge Knife Works, KATSU Knives, Farmforge Blade Works, Otter Arms, and Otter EDC. 10% off your purchase when you use that code. And I have a membership that gets you early access to videos, exclusive content, and I've got a bunch of stuff over here I'm going to try and do as giveaways. Again, I got frustrated because no one claimed their giveaway stuff. So guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comment section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I'll see you in the next video.